Hi guys, how's it going? Today's gonna be just a casual putting my makeup on type of video. I have some drugstore stuff to talk about. I was at Walmart over the weekend. If you saw my TikTok, you saw some of these newer things that I got and I just want to put them into action. Not every single thing is gonna be brand new, but there are some things I'm just very intrigued about and I thought, well, I'll just turn the camera on and we'll experience that together. First thing though, this is part of that Wet n Wild Care Bears collection and it was the main thing that really intrigued me about it. It's the Brighten Your Day Primer Serum. I think this has vitamin C and niacinamide and it's supposed to prolong the wear of your makeup. Ooh, it smells kind of like oranges or something. Lemon, it's kind of citrusy. It looks cute. This stuff is all cute. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm sort of tired of all the themed stuff that's coming out. Like all these brands that are constantly putting out collections of old cartoons and like all this stuff. I'm just really having a hard time getting excited about it. Like until you're putting out a David the Gnome collection, I'm sitting them out probably. Then guys, I've used this a couple times and I don't think I've used it in a video yet, but I mentioned that I'm needing to. And it's the Maybelline Fit Me Tinted Moisturizer. I have it in shade 120. For all skin types it says 76% natural origin. And I just haven't heard anything good about this. I haven't heard any like big positive buzz. And it's from the Fit Me line, which is normally pretty like hyped and loved. I'm going to use this. We're going to really look at how it's, you know, blending into the skin, what kind of coverage it has. I mean, it's light, but let's just see. Let's put it under the microscope today, huh? So dabbing around, and then I'm going to use my e.l.f. Duo complexion brush, blend that in. And when you get something that's a tinted moisturizer, I know it's going to be light. Like my expectation is light coverage. And this is light coverage, but I do like the look. I feel like the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator gives me like kind of a similar moisture level, probably a little more moisture than this actually, and a little more coverage too. But this isn't bad, you know, like I'm not hating it. I've got a little more luminosity on my skin, a little more hydration. It's fine, you know. It was easy to blend out. It's lightweight. I don't think there's any SPF in it, which the Wet n Wild could definitely benefit from that too. Shades seem to go like right into my skin tone and work well. So while it may not be God's gift to tinted moisturizers, like I still don't really dislike it. I think it's okay. If it was up against Wet n Wild Bare Focus, I would take the Bare Focus though. We're gonna stay with the Fit Me theme though, and I'm gonna use my Fit Me concealer with this. I haven't used this in a while. It's the shade Fair. I believe that's the lightest shade. And we're just gonna apply it probably quite a bit more generously than I would, let's say, camo concealer, because it's just a lighter coverage. But I want to see how it does paired with this tinted moisturizer. And then one of the new things is this brush from Real Techniques. It's like a chunky foundation brush and then boom, a little concealer brush on the other end, and you have this so when you put it down in your brush storage, one part of the brush isn't getting smushed, you know. But I primarily was into using this for concealer. So I'm using this big old chunk brush, and it's kind of nice for taking it over a large surface area. This is my first time using it. That kind of worked nicely actually. I kind of feel like my expectations on coverage have changed or like loosened up a little bit. That's a nice little brush, but don't get too close to that hard part. Like you can kind of smash yourself. But what I was noticing was like with this Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation stick, for example, I thought this did really well in that last video. And I did look back in my other videos and I used this once. I really hadn't given it much time at all. I used it alongside another newer, larger collection that had come out with Wet n Wild, like I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, and I was kind of knocking the coverage of it. And when I used it more recently, I really wasn't upset about the coverage at all, you know. I think I'm a little bit more like cool with things not being full coverage. And I think there was a period of time there where if it wasn't full coverage, I just wasn't going to like it very much. And now I'm just not in that place. And I think the makeup landscape of what's coming out at a certain time kind of changes you a little bit. Like if it's mostly full coverage things coming out, you maybe start holding that little bit of an expectation, but now I'm flooded with more lightweight things and I'm kind of like enjoying the lightweight. But here we are with that concealer all blended in. It's certainly light. Like looking up close at my skin, I don't feel like I look like I even have makeup on. So it blended in fine. Did it give me as much coverage as some other things could give me? Not quite, you know, but it's still good. Like the skin looks really fresh and even. So Fit Me Tinted Moisturizer, Fit Me Concealer, and now I want to add in the Matte and Poreless Pressed Powder. This is always a powder that I've kind of liked from the drugstore. It's very smooth. I've always felt like it did its job, you know. Might add a little coverage, but overall, you know, it's doing the mattifying thing. So I'm going to hit the T-zone with this. It's really a skin tone match kind of powder, but I am going to do the under eye too. I'll just do all over. Got a little zit wanting to happen on the very tip of my nose. See me pressing it in? Pushing it onto the skin so I just don't look like I have powder sitting right there on top of the skin. But it's becoming more one with the skin. And Lord knows if I get outside in this 100-degree heat, I'm going to need a little setting powder today. There we are. We're set. I still don't feel like super dry. I feel a little bit tacky, but I think it's going to be fine. A couple things coming up here that are definitely under the heading of not new, but new to me. The Revlon Skin Lights Prismatic Bronzer. I'm excited to try this. It's in the Sun-Kissed Beam shade, and I think there was one lighter shade sitting there too. It looks like it's going to be a little bit like satiny finish and kind of light, but I haven't used it yet, not till now, so I want to see what kind of impact this has on my skin. I remember seeing Skin Lights products though a long time ago. It was probably at some point in the 90s or early 2000s, and you know, there were all those glowy kinds of creams, and it was kind of like highlighting before anybody even really thought about highlighting. And then they tried bringing it back a little more recently, and now we just have a bronzer that says Skin Lights. I'm attempting a bit of a contour here. This is just a very, very soft bronzer. It's very firm in the compact. Like, as you can see, I'm not kicking up any fallout. I'm trying to build a little bit of a tan up here. Let me try taking it up just a little higher. Gosh, it's so barely there. I'm not huge on this, y'all. I don't want to have to work that hard to make it show up when I can grab some Wet n Wild Wet Shady Beaches. Like, I can see it. I don't know if you can tell on the camera if I'm a little more washed out there, but it's just very much barely there. Here's what I'm even more excited about. I got a Revlon blush. This is in the shade Hot Cheeks. It says new shade on the sticker, but who knows how long it's been sitting there. It's got a little bit of a sheen. I tried this on the TikTok and I was like, whoa, you know, it's very pigmented, a lot of color coming off on the brush. Just don't often hear much about Revlon blushes, and I thought, let's give it a try. And it's really pretty. Look at that pretty shade. Kind of a deep coral. Getting a definite corally vibe out of it, but there's a lot of pink happening too. There's just this richness. I love it. Yep, she's coming alive. Gorgeous blush. Gorgeous. Can't believe I hadn't really investigated those blushes. For highlight, I'm going to use my stick one from Wet n Wild. It's in the shade called When the Nude Strikes. I'm just going to swipe some of this right up here. This was another new to me thing, but not new on the market. We really focused on this in the Wet n Wild video a couple videos back. I'm going to use that kind of large flat brush again. Just kind of press and move that product around slightly. Ooh, it's so pretty. Those sticks, I tell you, they're really good. And look at that. Look at that glow. It's just like icing. You really can't see it. You can't point to the makeup. It's just looking glowy there. Really nice stuff. It's brow time. I'm going to be using my e.l.f. Ultra Precise, which I've been using a lot lately in the shade Cool Brown. Now we're just going to get these puppies filled in. And I have new eyeshadow palettes from Profusion. I think it's a limited edition collection. Again, shown in the TikTok haul. I've used the Harvest one and I was really impressed actually. You know, I was hoping that the formulas and everything would be consistent with what I usually try from Profusion, and so far so good. But I think I'm going to use the other one today. So I'll show both of those after I get done here. What other collections would I like that maybe are kind of like pop culture? You know, we were talking about the Care Bears stuff and how I'd take a David the Gnome collection and nothing else, but I might also take a Golden Girls collection. But for the most part, the random movies and cartoons, I'm kind of over it. There's just so much of that coming out, it seems like. I'm just much more interested in what a brand's gonna put out that's gonna be like here to stay. Put out a quality thing that's not limited edition, that's gonna change the game. That's what I wanna see. That's why my vibe is very much like the vibe of M Cosmetics. You know, I love that. They're not going to be slamming you with new products, but when they put something out, you know it's been very carefully done. Okay, Thick It Stick It is what I'm using in my brows here. This is in the shade Espresso. This product's good. I've never liked it quite as well as my Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. And look, I kind of am a little more prone to getting over gooped a bit. Got a lot in there. I was barely touching them. So these Profusion palettes, I have two distinct color schemes here. This one's called Harvest. Again, these floppy windows. Charge me the extra buck or whatever, and let's put something hard in there. Or just make it all cardboard all over the top. I don't know. But this is a very green palette. There's warmth in it. It's pretty. I enjoyed layering up some of the shimmer and the matte the other day. I liked it. This was the one I knew, like at first glance, that I was getting. And then this one, the ethereal one, I was kind of on the edge about. But now I'm really excited about it, you know? I'm really pumped to use this. There's blues, there's purples, there's greens, shimmer, matte. It's a 20 shade eye palette, you know, it's substantial. So what am I thinking? First off, we gotta prime the lids. And looking at my skin now, like I can see through to my skin, I can see freckles, I can see, you know, what's going on underneath it all, but there's a beautiful glow thanks to that highlight and, you know, the blush. The coverage is light but workable on that tinted moisturizer. By the time you add in your other steps, it really like kind of makes sense on the skin, I guess is my point. But what I've been finding lately is I can use some really light things on the skin, pair them with a decent concealer, and, you know, just go on with my face steps like I have today and end up being really happy with the look. All right, gang, where do we begin? I'm gonna use this shade called Prickly in the crease while we kind of think about what direction we want to go. We could do some fun blue. I feel like no matter what color I use, this will just set up the crease for being, you know, a little bit deeper. That's pretty. Feeling just like other Profusion mattes that I've used. You know, it's pigmented, but it's not like super flaky. Easily controllable. I was kind of thinking last night, like, another new drugstore makeup video. You know, like, I just didn't feel very original with this one. But, I mean, at the same time, I thought, you know, don't overthink it, Em, because this is what you want to do. You like talking about drugstore makeup, you like trying the new things, so you do your thing. That's what my inner voices were telling me last night. This could go so rich. Look at that deep shade right there. We gotta use some Crispy Morning right here. This blue, that's now gonna be layered in. And we've made it murky a little bit because we did kind of put something else there in the crease. But that's okay. Crispy Morning. Always called it a crisp morning. Right now we've got suffocating mornings around here. You just can't breathe outside. Like, everybody's rooting for summer, but I tell you what, heat and the humidity, I just don't dig it. Okay, it's looking like a real dusty blue. When you shoot out a swatch of that, it just kind of gets like dusty to nothingness, you know? So maybe it really wasn't the fault of what I layered below it, because it just by nature seems to be very, very light. I'm gonna pull in a little bit of this shade. No, let's do Splendid over here. Like a deep turquoise matte. Oh man, that one's like, yep, I'm gonna be what you see is what you get. Holy cow. Okay, I'm just like blending, hoping that it goes with me. That's pretty, but that was more intense than I was expecting. Okay, a little bit more over here. Creasing it up with some color. It is blending smoothly. It's not being like patchy. It's not trying to cling to one certain area. Again, we already had some shadows there, so there's kind of a glide. I feel like this is fun. Yes, M needs to use more color. Look at that. How fun. Where do we go up above that? What do we blend into up above? I feel like maybe the shade Bouquet, another matte. We really just haven't hit the shimmer yet. Just a little peachy. That's a really soft peach. Okay, I put it on much heavier on this eye, and I guess that's what I need to do. Next up, I want to go dark on my outer lid. I'm dying to see what Flora looks like. Why was I more excited about the other palette than this one? Frankly, I'm having even more fun with this one. Okay, Flora And then there's a deep plum down in here and a dark brown and like a true looking purple. Okay, that shade, as sometimes this happens, it's looking more like pinky as it applies on the lid as opposed to really deep burgundy. It's pulling more of a magenta vibe. So I guess I gotta go with it over here. I might layer up that plum. Look how pink that is. See, I don't like when the shadow does a switcheroo. I want it to be what I think I'm getting. I want to get that. Let's do some, this is called Rare down here, this purple. Wow, that seems pigmented. Pretty. I'm getting like kind of a peacock feel with this. Okay, what I think I want to do next is go back into Splendid, our deep turquoise, and just really make sure I've hit that crease. I don't want to lose that intensity after what I've done on the outer lid. So just, you know, keep it in the game. Just because you're trying to make your look go step by step by step doesn't mean you can't go back and alter and add. Okay, what do we do going inward? Okay, we've got this shade called Delicate up here. Ooh, that's pretty. We've got Fluorescence. That's this one right here, that shimmer. Oh my gosh, those look fun. I think I'm going to try to work with this Fluorescence. It's just very unique. Oh man, how fun. This is going on very full on, and I don't think I would have needed to use my finger. Like it's soft. It's not crunchy and chunky and hard. Wow. Like I went a little high with that using my finger. I'm trying dusting that away a bit, but wow, that's so nice. Yeah, the brush has no problem with that. I'm going to use my brush on the other eye actually, just so I have some more control. There's another kind of interesting shimmer, this shade called Exquisite. Looks like it's going to be fun. More in a sparkly sense, less in a like color shifting sense, because this shade looks a little bit blue, a little bit pink. Definitely fun, especially given the matte shades that I have surrounding it. Oh, wow. So under the eye, I'm going to pull in a more long wearing eyeliner to wear sort of as a base. This is Revlon Color Stay in Teal. And then I want more of my deep teal eyeshadow to top it off. I just think I'm going to have a better shot at staying power if I put some of this on. So we're just letting that come all across the lower lash line. And then use a little smudger tip to soften. If anybody is feeling like, gosh, I'd like to get back into a little color, but I don't want to spend an arm and a leg, you might grab, I mean, really either one of these Profusion palettes took me to a colorful place. Harvest is just more earthy, and this has more of those purples and pinks and teals. Then I'm just going to grab my smudge brush from Sigma, going back into Splendid. The whole turquoise experience can just kind of encircle my eye. You know what I'm getting into lately when I order from Subway? I like to just shock you. I like to be talking about eyeshadow and then just switch it. Subway has really good salads. I'm preferring to order a salad over a sandwich. I get a BLT salad. Now, here's the thing. They're going to put actual strips of bacon on your salad. You need to get this home and deconstruct for a second. You need to take that bacon out, and then I go and I use probably half the bacon that they give me, if not less than that, but I chop it up. I could maybe ask for them to chop it up, but I don't. And I've ordered this via DoorDash, so I'm not sure how to convey that even. But anyway, I get the bacon on there, the tomato, the ranch, some mozzarella cheese, red onion, black olives, add some spinach in there. And that is a darn good salad. Like everything is super fresh, super yummy. Can't you make that at home, Em? Yeah, I can, but I'm always missing one of the things, you know? So here's the eyeshadow look, y'all. I like it so much. I really like that. I'm going to just apply some liner. I'm going to use NYX Epic ink just across the top for a little definition. And then I do have a CoverGirl mascara that I don't think I've used on camera yet. By the way, isn't it funny how we were talking about the price of drugstore makeup going up? And I thought it was a mistake when I saw a concealer from CoverGirl on Ulta's website from their like ageless line, you know, the purple colored line. I thought it was a mistake when I saw a concealer for $17 and change from CoverGirl. But you know what? It's still there. I don't think it was a mistake. Just on the simple principle of things, I'm not going to buy that. I'm just not. But I do have a couple more reasonably priced things from that line. The Lash Plumping Mascara and also their hyaluronic acid lipstick here in Gracious Pink. So we're gonna use these today. Even looking up really close at my skin, I think it looks pretty good. The Maybelline Fit Me stuff, new and old, you know, we brought it together with the older concealer and the powder, the newer tinted moisturizer. It really did okay for us. But the thing I love about door dashing Subway is that you don't have to be like in a line memorizing all the different things you want to make your perfect sandwich or your perfect salad. You just can check the boxes, you can see everything, and then you can slowly like check it off. I've always had a bit of an issue with Subway coming out with a certain kind of sub, but then when you get there standing in line and you say you want the blah, 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 and then, well, what do you want on it? Well, what comes on it? You know, what makes it that sandwich? That's always been my bone to pick. I even talked about Subway in my birth plan. The first time we had a baby, Belle, Dr. Gates is like, you need to come up with a birth plan or something. And so I like wrote it out and I basically talked about Subway and I was like, you know, I trust that you guys are the experts here and it's not like Subway where I have to think of everything to tell you guys to do. I know you know what you're doing and I just want to ask for a calm, uneventful, successful delivery, and I'll let you guys fill in the blanks of all the toppings, all the extra little add-ons, you know. You tell me, you're the hospital. He really liked it. He really enjoyed that. Okay, so this mascara, did I even talk about like bushy kind of wand, little curve, barely a curve, but just really thick with bristles, and it's called Lash Plumping. It's not doing a whole lot. I feel like it might be too new. Like maybe it needs to just dry out just a little bit. It seems like a really creamy formula. Not like too wet, but just very creamy. And maybe it could cling to the lash and build on the lash a little better if it was just a bit drier. That's my take right now. But another neat thing with DoorDash is like, it's gonna save every little thing that you wanted, you know, with your order. It's gonna just save that and you can just tap it. It's gonna remember all those things you liked on your BLT salad. And it's like, okay, you had that, you like that, it's in the system. You just tap go. It's very good, but like, who's gonna actually, they should just chop up the strips of bacon though. Not everybody's gonna be eating that out on the go and be like, okay, let me get out my cutting board and my knife so I can really get this chopped. I'm all for bacon, but I don't need as much in there. I don't need every slice that they give me, so I take about half. And it's plenty. Maybe some Subways are different. Maybe some go real skimpy with the bacon on that, but mine seems to want to give me like 10 pieces. Again, I'm a little underwhelmed right now. I could see myself liking this mascara more as time goes on. I gotta give it a minute to just rest so then I can hopefully load on a little more. And for the lower lash, it's gonna be this. Look, that's kind of the vibe of the eye too, those colors. Cali Ray, come hell or high water. Someone asked me, does it clump? Somebody, some other YouTuber said it clumps your lashes together. Well, no, I don't think so. I've been thoroughly impressed with this mascara. I'm just kind of like reserving it most of the time for just my lower lashes because that's like its most needed function is this non-smudging that it's doing down there. But yeah, this is a Sephora product. That's where we break the little drugstore rule of the video. Okay, I threw on another coat there. Mascara's getting a real average rating for me for right now. This is the lipstick. It's got hyaluronic acid in it. It's got one of those little hydrating cores. Oh, watch out. The shade again is Gracious Pink. It's really creamy. It feels like lip balm. I'm not sure if I can handle that shade of pink with this colorful eye. Like I feel it must be taken down a notch. I don't know. It's just a little cotton candy for me right now. Taking Live on the Edge, my Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink Crayon. To focus on the lipstick for a second more. It feels like balm. It does not feel like super thick and rich and creamy, but it feels like a standard thickness kind of lip balm, you know? And the color of this particular shade is just kind of light for me. So now I'm trying to work in a little depth. That'll do. Make it a little more dusty. I would be open to trying more shades, something a little richer, like I said. The texture is super comfortable. Staying power, I've already experimented with this. It's just like, don't expect staying power out of those. Expect the staying power you would expect out of your standard lip balm with those. Alrighty guys, so here we are with the finished look. The face makeup was very light today with the tinted moisturizer, a real middle of the road medium coverage type concealer, a classic powder. For me, I don't dislike this tinted moisturizer, but if I'm still thinking lightweight from the drugstore, I just get a little more radiance boost, a teeny bit more coverage, and I just think a more satisfying look overall, all over my skin with the Wet n Wild. Now, if you're a little more oily, this feels a little less juicy to me, so maybe you might enjoy that aspect of this one. But my favorite parts of the look were probably this Revlon blush in Hot Cheeks and this ethereal palette from Profusion. There will be surprises. There will be continued surprises in here, I'm sure. Like this shade called Flora. It ain't brick red, it's like pink. But I'm excited to see more out of this shade, do more of a purpley vibe with it, try to get more of a neutral look out of it. We've got some real true blue right down here that's gonna be pretty. We've scratched the surface and I'm liking what I ended up with there. So thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video and to just spend a little time here with the Beauty Broadcast community. I appreciate it, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.